Hi guys, you're watching Cards TV. This is Mary, and I was noticing that I was really accumulating a lot of scraps, so I decided it was time to make some more note cards, and I use a lot of note cards. So I went ahead and got all my scraps together and tried to find colors and patterns that would match, and I pulled out the little Songbird cartridge, which I haven't used too much, but I really like it. I think it's just really cute. And I cut out the little bird cage with the bird in it for some of them, and then here's a bird cage on a stand. And I took a little silver brad and put it at the top just for some little bling. But my cards are 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, so that they will fit inside of a 4x4 envelope, which I also made. And my mats, most of them are 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. The ones that I have 2 pattern papers on, I cut the larger mat at 3 1/2 by 3 1/2, and then the small mats at the bottom are 1 1/2 by 3 1/2. And I had some of this little blue gingham ribbon that seemed to match all the patterns, so I used it. And I'm going to give you the dimensions on the little bird cages. This first little bird cage you'll find on page 32 in the manual. I cut the back in white, and then I cut the actual little bird cage in blue, and both of these were cut at 2 inches. And then we're going to go over to page 39. Here we go. And here's the bird cage on the stand. And I did the same thing with that, except this is cut at 3 inches. The shadows in white and the blue bird cage on the stand was also cut at 3 inches. But these were a lot of fun to make. They went really fast. I just cut my base at 3 3/4 by 7 1/2 and scored and folded it in half. You can see that. And just started pulling out the scraps and matching up the papers and putting them together. It was a lot of fun. The inside, I also put some scratch paper. This is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And when I get ready to send these out, I'll put a smaller white piece inside for my notes or whatever my sentiment's going to be. But the envelopes I made with the Beyond Birthdays cartridge. And to make a 4x4 square envelope, you want to cut your envelope at 5 1/2 inches. And you'll find, let's see, yeah, the square envelope is on page 139. You hit shift and it's this one right here. And I went ahead and wrote down to cut it at 5 1/2 inches to get a 4x4 square envelope. But when I did that, I discovered something else. If you go over to page 138, here's a rectangular envelope. And if you cut it at 8 inches, you end up with a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch envelope, which is something most of us use a lot of. And this time when I made my envelopes, rather than use cardstock, I just used some white copy paper. And they came out just fine. They're the same weight as a regular envelope, and the little cards just slide right in. And for my closure at the top, I used some of the sticky strip. It's just the thin one. Some people call it terrifically tacky tape. But I went ahead and put a strip on there, and then when I get ready to close it, I'll just take off this red part and seal it. Turned out really well. But when you cut your envelopes out, they'll look like this, and you just score along all the lines and fold in the sides and glue the center seam, and then glue your bottom up, and you've got your envelope. I'm just really happy too that I found out about this 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, because sometimes it's hard to find those. And it's nice to know that now I can make my own. But there you go, guys. You need to go through your scraps if you need some little note cards. And just put some colors together and see what you can come up with. And you'll have some really cute, unique, one-of-a-kind little note cards. And you can put a set of these together and give them as a gift, too. Well, have a great day. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.